I now give the floor to the representative of the Czech Republic.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have the honor to speak on behalf of the European Union. The candidate countries Turkey, Croatia, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, the countries of the stabilization and association process, and potential candidates Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, as well as Ukraine, the Republic of Moldova, Armenia and Georgia aligned themselves with this statement. Mr. President, first of all, I would like to express our appreciation for having been invited to participate in today's session on behalf of the European Union. Also, I would like to thank the Undersecretaries General Ismail Cora, Mr. Pasco, and Mr. Leroy for their respective briefings, and I would like also to extend my gratitude to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Somalia for his contribution to this debate. Mr. President, the EU acknowledges the recommendations of the Secretary General contained in his report. Given the current security conditions, we believe that the proposed phased approach of continued support for AMISOM and strengthening of Somali security institutions is the best available option. The European Union takes note that after the two first phases, the Secretary General recommends that the Security Council decide whether conditions set in his report and timing are conducive to a shift to the final phase in which the UN peacekeeping cooperation could be established to take over from AMISOM. Mr. President, despite positive development at the political level, at the powerful political momentum created by the Djibouti peace process, the overall security situation on the ground remained extremely volatile, as demonstrated by the outburst of fighting in Mogadishu during recent days. In this context, the EU welcomes the continued efforts of President Sheikh Sharif Sheikh Ahmed to reach out to those groups that remain opposed to the Djibouti process. Of consistent great concern is the humanitarian situation, the continued plight of the IDPs, and the dramatic increase of pirate attacks off the Somalia coast and beyond the international high seas. The European Union welcomes the pledge made during the international conference in support of the Somali security institutions and the African Union mission in Somalia, which was held in Brussels on 23 April 2009 under the joint auspices of the United Nations, the European Union, the African Union, and the League of Arab States. The pledges made during this conference reached the amount of 164 million euro, both for AMISOM needs, which were not covered by the UN logistical support package, and to support the Somali transitional security institutions, of which the European Commission alone pledged more than 80 million euro. This testifies the strong commitment of the European Union to work with the international community to help the new Somali transitional federal government to bring about peace and stability. The European Union stresses that building up the Somali security and police forces is vital for the stability in the country. The European Union also calls on the international community to step up its support for Somali institutions in order to take on challenges and opportunities to further consolidate reconciliation, restore peace, and to rebuild the country. The European Union remains committed to engage in such support. In Brussels, the international community also highlighted the need to continue to address the issue of piracy, inter alia through an international naval presence, underlining that the land-based solutions to the root causes of piracy must be urgently addressed. The European Union also would like to express its gratitude to AMISOM troop contributing countries for their contribution to stabilizing the situation in Mogadishu, given the difficult operating environment. It is also important to continue to support AMISOM through the UN logistical support package, the UN trust funds, and bilaterally with a coordinated approach. Mr. President, in addition, the European Union and its member states are supporting AMISOM in the training of the Somali National Security Force and Somali Police. In regards to the support of AMISOM, the European Commission has committed so far a total of 40 million euro. Moreover, several EU member states have offered both financial, material and logistical assistance. The EU's priority is to support good governance, human rights and the rule of law. At the Brussels Pledging Conference, the European Commission announced that it planned to allocate more than 215 million euro in these areas for the period 2008-2013. The European Union also provides humanitarian emergency relief and other forms of assistance to ameliorate the suffering of the Somali people. Mr. President, the European Union is contributing to the international efforts to curb piracy off the Somali coast and in the Gulf of Aden. The EU is ready to continue through the deployment of the maritime military mission Atalanta to protect the UN vessels delivering the logistical support package to AMISOM and the shipment of humanitarian relief, as well as surveillance and patrolling in the maritime areas. At the same time, the European Union is aware of and committed to support the need to address the root causes of piracy through sustainable development and the full restoration of the rule of law in Somalia. Mr. President, in conclusion, let me assure that the European Union, together with other members of the international community, stands ready to continue assisting Somalia. However, Somalia must do its part. The imminent goal is to develop its own national security force and civilian police force. A long-term security strategy is a precondition for future development. The European Union welcomes the announcement by the President Sheikh Sharif Sheikh Ahmed in Brussels that, I quote, "The issue of security is one of the government's highest priorities," end of quote. Any meaningful progress can be only based on Somalia's ownership and responsibility for its implementation. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the Czech Republic for his statement. There are no other speakers inscribed on my list. In accordance with the understanding reached in the Council's prior consultations, I now invite Council members to informal consultations to continue our discussion on the subject. The meeting is adjourned.